Daybreak in Utah. It's a new suburban master plan development, and they say they have over 50 miles of trails. So I'm here to take a look around, explore, and see what I want to plan for a bike route here. This first area is pretty sweet, and I love the water feature. This lake concept is really sweet. I mean, there's like first mile, people fishing, people kayaking, people playing in the water. Seems pretty cool so far, but definitely like feels like Virginia Beach or somewhere on the East Coast. Just kind of crazy. So I was riding in the center lake area, and this is one of the, I would call like linear park veins that branch out from the center lake. And these linear parks have these pathways that go through them, and you can see there's like a little horseshoe area. There's some park benches, some trash cans, which are nice amenities to have in these linear parks. And you can also see up here on the left, there's some bike racks and a little playground in the middle. And I found these linear parks to be a great way to branch out into other parts of the neighborhood. First impressions, it's a little too perfect. I feel like if Walt Disney designed a neighborhood, this is what it would be. Feels like a mix between like the East Coast and parts of Florida, but I think it just all feels so new, so maybe that's why it feels a little weird. So everything's pristine. It's not like a dirty city yet. I don't know. I love the different houses. So here's definitely single family. Then here we move into more townhomes. This section I thought was super cool. In one of these linear parks that branches out from the center, this is what I would call a linear skate park. There are a couple different skateboard or like skate park-esque features along this path and along with this playground right there, and it really just gives you a place to explore when you don't want to be in the house, you don't necessarily want to go too far. And so this footage is also back at the central lake, and we're gonna ride around the lake, around the perimeter of the lake. And just to give you some background, this video I filmed this last summer, and this was my first exploration of the town of Daybreak, Utah. I really intend on spending a good amount of time here coming up this next summer. I really want to design a bike route that really shows off the town and shows off the different amenities and the different paths around town. This is, I think, called North Shore. These are some apartments that are on the north side of the lake, and this little courtyard area to me just felt really cool. I'm excited to go back and see what this looks like when it's all finished, and I hope there's like some community amenities in there. This is the north shore of the lake. As you can see, there's someone fishing, which I think is awesome, someone walking their dog. It just makes getting outside, getting to commerce with these paths, with these linear parks, it makes it feel like a town. Okay, so this is my first time exploring Daybreak here in Utah, and I have to say so far that I am thoroughly impressed. I think I've only gone 4 miles on the paths, but the different types of housing that's out here, the land use, how you can get to parks, how you can get to the parks on trails. There's benches everywhere. There's, in the first mile of being here, there was people playing in water, there was kids fishing, there was people on bikes, there was families out with strollers, and so far I'm thoroughly impressed. As like an urban planning experiment, I'm gonna have to spend some time here and share what's going on, because there's rail to Salt Lake from here, so pretty impressed. Again, this was my first exploration of Daybreak. I rode this path up to a park, which seemed to be a high point, and since it is a high point, there is a water feature. There's a little creek that follows down to the main lake, and we'll be following that most this time. I mean, look, under this bridge, there's these little picnic areas. It's so fascinating to me what can be done when you have a master planned community that is fairly large, that's planned in a very responsible way, in a very accessible way, that inspires you to get outside, to go use these, again, this term I keep using, this linear park. To be able to leave your house on foot, on a bike, even, if you're in a wheelchair, like, this is all very accessible to everyone of all ages and of all abilities. Look at this electrical box. It's all painted. The whole time I was riding my bike here, I was just blown away at this town. And I keep calling it a town because it does feel like its own little experiment, its own little village on the west side of the Salt Lake Valley. I particularly loved these homes on the left side here. This is the back side of the homes, but they're actually designed, looks like they're designed like it's the front of the house, and it faces that linear park. This is down towards the bottom of that path I was riding. This is the part of that big central lake that I was riding around. And we're gonna go, again, people fishing. Like, I love it so much. This place is insane. It's kind of not real. I keep saying it's fake, but it's just because it's so perfect that it feels very planned still, which, isn't a bad thing, but feels like the quality reserved for like Lake Sherwood or something super nice. But these houses are very all middle class, which is awesome. Okay, so I know I'm jumping around a lot. This was another vein of like a linear park that I went up, and this is, again, going back towards the main center lake. This was my first ever exploration of Daybreak, and my first exploration of the different paths and amenities around town. So take this video as like a first look and first impressions video of Daybreak, because I plan on spending a considerable amount of time here, and I really want to produce a video that shows and tells stories of different residents here who live in the single family, residents that live in the multifamily townhomes, and people that live in the apartments that are in town. Another special thing about Daybreak, Utah is that it has a light rail station at it, and so this neighborhood is actually connected to the streetcar, the light rail network that is built out in the Salt Lake Valley. And that's just another reason why I really love this master planned community, because they knew that to make this a walkable and bikeable and transit accessible neighborhood or development, and quite frankly, like a new city, they needed to bring in transit. They needed to build these paths. They needed to build these linear parks and activity centers that brings people out of their houses and brings people together and makes them actually feel like they live in a community. I feel like in suburban towns these days, people just stay in their homes. There's no like central meeting places, and I love Daybreak so much. I don't live there, but I just riding my bike around. Riding my bike around, I just felt a sense of community, a sense of belonging. And that's a feeling that I don't really feel in many suburban towns or many cities, quite frankly, for that matter. And I think it's important that we study these privately master planned suburban developments, because I really think that there's something to learn here. There's something for cities that have to go through the public process, right? To learn from the quality of life, the amenities, the feeling that this town has. So take this video as a first look. This is by all means not a deep dive, just a first exploration, and make sure you stay tuned this spring, because I am going to spend a lot of time here, going to be interviewing residents. I hope to go around with a city planner and really get into some good discussions about what life is like in Daybreak and how people can bring elements of Daybreak into their city or town.